Hi. In the last lesson in social studies, we were looking at physical features that describe Zambia. Today, we're looking at the second part, and in the second part, we're looking at social features that describe Zambia. And in this second part, we shall break the topic further into two parts. That is part A, wherein we are going to look at the historical social features, and then in part B we shall look at current social features, political features that describe our country. Now, in today's lesson, we want to answer the following questions. How can we know about things that happened in the past? Have you ever imagined that? How can we know things which happened in the past? In the past there were no cameras, there were no videos, so how how do we know about things people did in the past? Then secondly, where did the people who live in Zambia come from? Okay, today we see each other, we have big communities, but we want to look at the question, where did the people who live in Zambia come from? And finally, what kind of life did they have? What did men do? What did the women do? And what about children also? What role did they play? Okay, so how can we know about things that happened in the past? Well, we can study about the life of people who lived a long time ago using what is known as archaeology. Now, that's a very important word you need to know, and you need to know how to spell it. Like right over here, I say new words you should know how to spell. Archaeology. Now, what is archaeology? Archaeology is the study of the past by looking at objects and buildings which are found in the ground. That means for you to know about these objects, well, there will be some digging you need to do, and you discover these objects, and then you begin to think about those objects, how they look, the kind of drawings they have. Well, you can start connecting the dots, and they'll tell you a certain story. Okay, so for example, if you were digging and you found a pot, and you can see that this pot was there a long time ago, and in that pot you found some foodstuffs, well, which became hardened. And well, if you were to discover such a pot, you can come up with some information. You will know that, okay, I think this was a pot, and I think people used to keep food in it. So you see, you can know what things people did in the past by simply looking at things we dig from the ground. So archaeology is the study of the past by looking at objects and old buildings found in the ground. Now, a person who studies the past by looking at objects and old buildings found in the ground is called an archaeologist. So please do yourself a favor, try to practice these two words, archaeology and archaeologist. You need to know how to spell them. Now you can see a beautiful picture here. You can see a team of people who are digging up things, and well, here they've discovered a pot which was buried in the ground, and by doing this they're going to know something about the past. Now, where did the people in Zambia come from? Well, the history of Zambia goes way back to hundreds and hundreds of years. But it is important to know that before the many people you see in Zambia came to Zambia, Zambia used to have these kind of people called the Khoisan people. I've shown a picture here. These are the Khoisan people. So a long time ago, there were Khoisan people living in Zambia. Now, these people lived in small family groups. And well, one thing that caused that is because why they were in small groups is because they were always moving from one place to another to look for food and water. So, and well, they were hunters. Much of their time they were hunting animals so that they can find something to eat. And when there are no animals in that place, or the animals have run away, they were moving to another place. So they ended up moving from one place to another. Now, people who move from one place to another in search of food or shelter are known as nomads. Nomads. That's another important word you need to understand. Now, later on, the Bantu people arrived in Zambia. That should have been around 300 AD. Now, that's a long time ago. So the Bantu speaking people arrived in Zambia. They entered Zambia from what is a country we call the Democratic Republic of Congo. It is on the northern part of Zambia. So they came from that through DRC, or Democratic Republic of Congo. And Bantu speaking people usually stayed in one place to farm and to work with iron. So they never moved from one place to another. And because of that, they were able to settle down, they were able to have family, and as a result of that, the Bantu people used to live in very large groups. And because they had large groups, there was need for people to control these large groups. And for that reason, the Bantu speaking people used to have chiefs or kings. Now that was different from the Khoisan. They never had that, okay, because they lived in small groups. But the Bantu speaking people, they were not nomads. They settled in one place. Now why did they settle in one place? Because instead of just hunting from place to place, the Bantu speaking people were a bit smarter. They were able to settle in one place to grow food, to grow vegetables, to keep animals. So instead of moving from one place to another, they were able to farm. Okay, now in these kind of communities, what did men, women and children used to do? Well, men usually used to smelt iron, and when they smelt iron, they would make tools and weapons. Okay, and men also used to settle disputes. In case two people are quarreling or they have a difference, men were the leaders who would settle disputes. Then the women used to love to make clay pots, okay, and they used to use these beautiful pots to carry water, and they would also use the pots for cooking. And these women also would make baskets. They would they weaved baskets for carrying and storing preserved foodstuffs. So you can see that the Bantu speaking people were a little bit advanced. What about the children like you? What were the children doing? Well, they never used to go for school the way you go to school, the way you watch your television and all that. The children used to help in doing various chores, working around the home. Boys worked with their fathers, while girls worked with their mothers. Now, here is something interesting. Now, I know as I'm speaking this, some of you, your tribe is Bemba, others you are Chewa, others you are Tonga, and all that. Now, here's something interesting. Different tribes in Zambia had different ways of doing things. The Tonga people, for example, the Tonga people lived in family groups. And here is something interesting. They did not have chiefs or kings. Decisions were simply made by family groups. So Tongas did not have this thing of having a chief or a leader. They would make decisions by family groups. And the Tonga also did not have armies. They didn't have men of war to fight and do such kind of things. And other people also were like the Tongas, without having leaders, chiefs or kings, were the Ila, the Lenje, and Soli. So if you're wondering what the Soli people are, these are people who used to live in Lusaka, okay, where we are. And then you have the Bemba, the Lui, and Lunda people. These had chiefs or kings, all right? And economic activities, when you look at the Khoisan people, like we said, Khoisan people were hunters and gatherers. The Bantu people practiced farming, we mentioned that, but here's one thing we didn't mention. The Bantu people traded using the barter system. What is the barter system? A barter system is a way of trading wherein you exchange things. So for example, if I admire the shoe you have, and you also admire maybe a book I have, or a cloth I have, we can make a deal. I'll say, take my shirt, I'll take your shoe. That is how barter system works. You buy things by exchanging them. All right. So that is how the different economic activities were. And that's it for this lesson. And in the next lesson, we shall continue on this topic. But today we've just looked at the historical feature of how our society used to be. In the next lesson, we shall look at modern Zambia, and we look at what social things characterize our societies. Okay, wishing you all the best. You can go ahead and answer the questions for today.